Am I the asshole for calling ski patrol on a guy after he hit my son with his skis? My son, 11M, and I, 44M, recently booked a trip to go skiing in Colorado. It was my son's first time skiing, but he had seen a lot of skiing videos on YouTube, and he seemed really excited for the trip. We also live in Florida, so this is not the trip you can just go and do whenever you like. We are not rich. I grew up in Utah and I loved skiing when I was younger, and I would say I'm an expert on the mountain. The first day goes all good, and my son really enjoyed skiing for the first time, even though he fell a lot, lol. I made sure to be as supportive and caring as possible, even when he was struggling, because I wanted to make this as fun an experience as possible for him. However, on the second day of skiing, he says he's finally ready to ski down the whole mountain, and so we take the lift to the top. Luckily, there was a way to get down the mountain while only staying on green level trails, so he took that way. My son is having a blast, when all of a sudden, this guy in his 20s careens into my son from behind going on insane speeds, wiping them both out. My son immediately started crying and came running to me after he got his skis off, and once he calmed down, he ran to the lodge where my wife was, and she decided to take him to the doctor's office. I immediately confront the guy for being so reckless, and he simply says that I should have been paying better attention to my kid, and then he rode off. That was the final straw for me, and I called the ski patrol number in the app and told the guy the situation and what the skier was wearing, and they told me they would find him and kick him out. Later on, I saw him getting escorted out of the park by 2 ski patrol officers, and when he saw me, he immediately started cursing me out and calling me a horrible dad. I tried to ignore it, but now I'm second-guessing myself if I overreacted. So, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Green trails are specifically beginner-friendly. Anyone who knows slopes would know that the path will be filled with kids and people still unsteady on their skis. I've never even been on the slopes and I know that. He definitely needed to be more mindful, and should have had the decency to at least apologize for potentially seriously injuring a kid. The authorities at the lodge knew he was reckless and dangerous, which is why they escorted him out. He shouldn't be there if he's going to endanger other guests, especially kids. They don't need a skiing lawsuit in the making on the grounds. I hope your son is okay and that this doesn't turn him off skiing. You're a good parent. Not the asshole. As a ski patroller, the law is that the uphill skier is responsible for avoiding people, to maintain safe speeds, and to remain in control. An accident on the hill has legal recourse and they were actively breaking the law. This law is posted on all of your mountain passes and you agree to adhere to it when you are on the mountain. It is also the responsibility of the downhill skier to check uphill when merging or beginning their path, but this doesn't seem like the case from the description of the accident. Not the asshole. Thank you for doing that. This could have been so much worse. It's a green trail. That dude should have known better. I don't even know what he means by you should have been watching your kid. You were watching your kid. You watched him get rammed into by this asshole. How could you have prevented what happened, at all? He's the guy who came up behind your son, at unreasonable speed. If you were any closer to your son, you would have been hit too. That guy's just lashing out and refusing to take any responsibility for his actions. You did the right thing. What if he had hit into an even smaller child? You're all lucky this wasn't so much worse. As you know, you're responsible for anything in front of you. The guy hit your child from behind. It was a green run, so sure to have beginners it was a green run, so no speeding. Hopefully the ban is permanent. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Even if you were right beside your son, he still would have crashed into him because he was going too fast and not able to move to avoid your son. Maybe getting kicked out will make him think twice before acting like this again. Hope this doesn't turn your son off of skiing. Not the asshole. Your son had the right of way. He was watching where he was going. The reckless skier is responsible for avoiding people in front, and if he was going that fast likely should not have been on the green run. Absolutely a call to ski patrol. Am I the asshole for not allowing my children to call my mother, honey? I, 29F, have been thinking about starting a family recently. My mother, 50 female, recently stated she does not want her grandchildren to call her grandma but wants them to call her, honey. She says she wants something uniquely different. She thinks it's endearing and says she will be sweet as honey to her grandkids. She and her husband call each other honey, and I consider it a romantic pet name and think it is odd as a grandparent name. My siblings agree with me. My husband thinks we should just let her choose whatever name she wants, but I cringe every time I think about it and want us to come up with something else we all like. She thinks I'm being the asshole and it will be her grandchildren, so she gets to decide. Am I the asshole? Too long did not read. My mom wants her grandchildren to call her honey and I want us to pick a different name as I think honey is weird. Info: can you mix the two and let the kids call her Gunny? Your kids pick the grandma name anyway, and they won't be able to pronounce honey. Just say, okay, to honey, and then when your kids can't say it and call her, oh nay, roll with it. OMG, that's so cute. Is One coming over tonight? This was how someone in my family ended up with the grandma name of Nini. I am really surprised at NTA takes. Honey is absolutely not only romantic. Very common for a parent or grandparent to call a child honey. So it would not be creepy at all for a child to call a grandparent honey in return. I say nah. If you really hate it, then ultimately it's not a good choice. You need to sit down and come up with another option. Do you have a heritage that has a non-English name for grandparent that could be a good fit? My mother-in-law wanted to be called Fancy Face with rolling eyes. The first grandchild started calling her Henny, which was a nickname for a sister of Mill, who passed away years before my nephew was even conceived. He had never heard of this person's nickname, and just announced that was what he was going to call her. She couldn't argue with that. I called my maternal girlfriend Popo for some reason. He died when I was in college, and that was still what I called him. No idea where I got it. Grandparents don't really choose. My grandmother name was picked by my grandkids. My husband always calls me Tootsie. My grandkids call me that now. They named me. I didn't. Her name will come. My mother-in-law demanded my kids call her by her first name, Millie. They ended up with Moo. Yes, they chose Moo. Be careful what you wish for. This is what's known as putting the cart before the horse. You're not even pregnant. Trust me, there will be plenty of things to bump heads with your mother once the baby is real and on the scene. What difference does it make? Plenty of time for conflicts to arise. Am I the asshole for reminding my mom that she disappeared for 6 years? My 18 mom and dad divorced 6 years ago. Her new husband didn't want her to see my dad, and so she let my dad have custody of me and didn't exercise visitation. She contacted us last month, saying she had divorced him and would like to reconnect. Dad told me it's up to me, so I said, why not? Things have been kind of awkward between us. Obviously I've changed a lot since last time she saw me. When she came over yesterday, I was reading an offer from a gentleman. My mom said, "You're too young to be reading these toxic romance books." I just stared at her and said, "I was 12 when you disappeared 6 years ago. I'm 18 now." She spluttered for a moment and then told me there is no need to use that word, that she made a mistake and there is no reason to throw it in her face. Not the asshole. She does not get to pretend like everything is suddenly okay. She has to make amends to you. If it were me, I'd make weekly joint counseling a condition of you having contact with her. You pick the counselor and she pays. You're in the driver's seat on this one. I'd also make it very clear that she has lots of work to do before she gets to resume the role of parent. Not the asshole. Did she conveniently forget that you had grown up in those 6 years? Your reply was a perfect lesson in karma. As for her getting butthurt over disappeared, you told her nothing but the unvarnished truth. What were you supposed to call her abandoning you? Temporarily unavailable? Not the asshole. Damn, op. Most people don't lead with the nuclear weapon. Once your mom is done getting treated for that burn, maybe she'll realize trying to act like your mother is something she'll have to build to. Not the asshole. There is a reason to throw it in her face. She clearly overstepped your boundaries because she forgot she is no longer your mom. She may be your mother. You may be working towards her being a mom again, but ATM, you don't have a mom. She doesn't need to act like one, and she isn't owed any respect as one. Remind her of that and tell her if she wants to work for forgiveness and reconciliation, that means accepting that she deserves some reminders of who she is whenever she steps over those boundaries. She spluttered for a moment and then told me there is no need to use that word, that she made a mistake and there is no reason to throw it in her face. Oh, there is sound reason. Reality check. What you did just explained why she is misjudging, which is very nice. I would not be that polite, to be honest. She chose a man over her child for 7 years. I'd have thrown a hell of a lot more in her face. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for snapping at my husband for being forcefully nice? My husband is a nice guy, but sometimes he doesn't listen to me, and that really triggers me if he does it frequently enough. For example, he will ask if I want some oranges, I'll say no thank you. Then he'll peel some oranges for me and offer me some, and then I'll say no thank you, and he leaves the bowl of oranges there. But imagine this happens for multiple scenarios daily. 95% of our fights is because he does not listen to me, and thinks he knows better and keeps insisting and imposing his ideas on me. Today, I was holding our baby daughter, 2 months, and eating. He told me to eat first and he will hold our daughter. I told him, I'm fine, it's finger food and I got it. I told him to eat first and then rear the toddler baby after. Well, he insisted I should eat first and told me to give him the baby. I told him again, no, I'm okay, I can hold the baby. He then came over and grabbed the baby and repeatedly said, eat. Eat first, I'll eat after. I told him explicitly, no, let go. No, I'm fine. No, don't take her. You aren't listening to me and this will lead to a fight. This is disrespectful, please stop, while maintaining my hold on our baby. He kept grabbing the baby from my arms and I finally let go because I didn't want to make our baby feel uncomfortable or worse hurt her. Like God forbid we drop her while both trying to grab her. I was so pissed off he would not listen to me again and went as far as starting a tug-of-war with our baby. He says he's always trying to just be nice and I end up snapping at him. It's also important to know what we value the most in relationship is different. He values feeling like he's cared for and loved. I value being respected. I told him by not listening to me repeatedly, multiple times a week, he's disrespecting me. So now I feel crazy. I know he's trying to be nice but I end up a fight about how he doesn't listen to me at least twice a month. Edit. No, I don't think this is abusive because it's a learned behavior. He does this with his mom, and vice versa. And after his mom gives in, she laughs and says, "Ah, my son is so filial." Apparently they enjoy this. FML. This behavior has exponentially gotten worse since his mom moved in, which is a totally different issue. He's not trying to be nice, he is trying to be controlling. You have to do as he says. You have to eat when he says. What's next? Ask for his permission to poop? Playing tug-o-war with a baby is actually insane. Control and other abuse usually ramp up after big events like having a baby. Is he showing any other red flag? Not the asshole. Forceful, yes, nice, no. Steamrolling you when you're saying no is so far from nice. Doing it multiple times every single day is, I don't even know what to say. I would lose my mind. Of course you snap at him. What else are you supposed to do? Not that it matters, he doesn't listen even when you snap. He's not trying to be nice. People who try to be nice don't do things they are explicitly told not to do. On the off chance this actually is him trying, he is the worst at it anyone has ever been. Not the asshole. I used to hate when my ex-husband said that he was just trying to do something nice. It meant he had done something thoughtless, disrespectful, that I had explicitly asked him not to and was then trying to guilt trip. You and your husband need to sit down and have a long conversation. He may think he is doing something good, but what he is actually doing is treating you like a child who doesn't know what is best. How long has he thought he knows what you need better than you do? He's not being nice, he is being controlling and disrespectful. The controlling is a form of abuse, so watch for more red flags. Not the asshole, and it doesn't sound like he's trying to be nice. It sounds like he's trying to make everything in the house happen his way, even at the expense of starting a tug-of-war episode over your baby. That's not nice or helpful. Not the asshole. He is basically saying, I know better than you, about what you need, want. There isn't anything nice about him refusing to let you have autonomy over yourself.